Cutting your 360 waves is the most important step when finishing your wolf session. In this video, I'm going to break down everything you need to do to give yourself a perfect 360 wave cut. I'm going to talk about the differences between against the grain and with the grain, what guards to use, when to cut it, and exactly what you do after you get your hair cut. So stay tuned, y'all.
Do-rags, wave cream, brushes. Get the best products for your 360 waves at wavymerch.com.
Let's just say you've been wolfing for about 4 weeks and your hair is absolutely out of control. You're starting to see forks form, you can't lay your hair down, and there's nothing you can do to make your waves look better. This is the perfect time to cut your waves. So what a wave cut will do is it reveals the progress that you've made throughout your wolf session. Your hair is just so long that it's hiding all the depth of your 360 waves. When you get the haircut, it releases it and it cuts off so much of the bulk that all you have left are laid down, trained 360 waves. So these right here are a pair of clippers. And what these clippers do is they cut down hair, basically. I'm sure you've used this when you went to your barbershop. But when you cut 360 waves, you have to use the correct guard to make sure you don't cut your hair too low. Because remember, 360 waves are just laid down curls. If you cut below your curl length to the point where your hair is no longer curly, it's impossible for you to get waves. That's why when you give yourself a cut, you have to find the right guard that cuts the right amount of hair but doesn't cut too much to the point where you don't have any more waves. So some of the common guards that you'll use when you get your hair cut is probably gonna be a 2 with the grain. A 2 doesn't cut too much hair and it still leaves your hair long enough to the point where it can still get waves. But you're probably asking, what is with the grain and what is against the grain? With the grain is when you cut your waves with the pattern. So if you brush your hair like this, you're brushing it with your pattern. That's called with the grain. Against the grain is when you cut against your wave pattern. And you're probably wondering, why would you want to cut against your wave pattern? Wouldn't that get rid of my 360 waves? It would, only if you use the same guard that you would use with the grain. For example, if I give myself haircuts and I usually go 3 with the grain, which means I have my 3 guard and I'm going with the grain. If I want to cut against the grain, I'm going to use a 6 guard. So I like to double it and then I'll go against the grain. If I usually cut my hair 2 with the grain, I'm going to go 4 against the grain. So I like to double it whenever I'm going against the grain compared to with the grain. So if you're going 1 with the grain, go 2 against the grain. If you're going 3 with the grain, go 6 against the grain. I usually give myself a 7 closed against the grain. That's gonna be a pretty good cut for me. Or if I wanna keep my hair super long, I'll go 8 against the grain. It won't cut too much hair, but that's just gonna be a trim, so my hair will still be long enough and curly, so I'll still have deep 360 waves. If you guys have any questions, post that in the comment section right now, but I think I did a pretty good job explaining how to give yourself the cut. Now let's get into the fun part. Let's actually go cut it. Let's go. So when you go to your barber, you want to tell him this specifically. If you have a tighter curl texture, tell him you want to go 2 with the grain, and if you realize it doesn't cut a lot, tell him you want to close the guard and keep it at a 2. Let me put this up. So your barber will put the 2 guard on the clipper, and as you see, this is open and this is closed. And what it means when you close the guard is it just compresses a little bit more, so you'll get a more in-depth cut. You'll cut a little bit more hair. He should know what he's doing. And if he doesn't, get a new barber. And when you say with the grain, that means he's gonna be cutting the hair like this. Now, if you have a more loose curl texture like myself, I find giving myself against the grain haircuts work best. And what I'll usually tell my barber is to give me either a 6, a 7, or an 8. And I always close the guard. If I want to get a trim, I'll go 8 closed. If I want to cut a little bit more, I'll go 7 closed. And if I want an actual haircut, I'll go 6 closed. The 6 will cut more, the 7 will cut less, and the 8 will cut even less. And don't be scared to tell your barber exactly what you want, because if you don't tell him, he's just gonna do whatever he wants. And I've ruined my waves so many times by not telling the barber exactly what I want. So that's my advice to you. Now, I don't feel like cutting too much hair. I'm enjoying my wolf right now. My hair has still been pretty easy to maintain. So I'm gonna go a number 8 against the grain. And I'm gonna close the guard so it cuts an actual 8. So you can see, you can hear as well that not much is cutting, which is good. I don't wanna cut too much hair. I just wanna trim. So you can see my crown right here, and I'm just cutting straight into that. You can see I have no waves right now. I cut them out. Oh no, oh no. But watch this. I just get my brush from Wavy Merch, and then I brush it right back down. And you can see that my waves come back And that's because my hair is still at its curl length. So even though it's pushed back because of the against the grain haircut, once I brush it right back down, the waves reappear. So you can see from before compared to after, my hair is still curly, it's still wavy, but it just looks a lot lighter. And the reason why I love going against the grain is because it lets me wolf so much longer. I can just give myself little trims and I get to keep wolfing for a long period of time. See, look at that. My waves came back, just like that. It's because I didn't cut too low. Now, a secret tip that makes my wave cut look even better is I trim down my edges. So we just went 8 against the grain, but you can still see it looks a little puffy around the sides and around the top of my lineup. What I'll do is I'll get a 2 guard and I'll just trim the edges. I'll go a little bit higher, but I'll make sure that I bring it down to my line and I'll show you guys. It's gonna look so much cleaner. Watch, you can see more hair coming down. I just bring it down to my edges and it also makes it so much easier for the next step of this haircut, which is giving ourselves the lineup and the taper. And then what I'll do is I'll get the 1 guard and I'll go even closer. I'll just go right on the line, right on the edge. And I just bring it right to my edges and I bring that all the way down. So any of the hair that looks a little thick, I'm trimming it and it just makes the haircut look so much cleaner. I'm not going high, I'm just going right along the edges. So you can see now that my wave cut looks so much better than before I did this. So this is a secret tip that I use that makes my wolf go even longer and my haircut look even better. Now, when you get a taper and you have 360 waves, you don't wanna go too high. A serious waver does not get super high fades because you want waves coming all the way down. And if you get a fade, you're cutting into your waves. When you give yourself the lineup, again, you wanna be very careful. You don't wanna push back. You just wanna tap along the edges of where your hairline is, just so you can make everything look a little bit sharper. Let's get into this. Wish me luck, y'all. Whenever I'm giving myself a taper or a lineup, I always brush my hair down just to get it ready for the liner. So let's go. You can see I'm not going too high. I'm just cutting the hair that lines over. And I'm trying to keep it as straight as possible. All right, you guys, so that is the end of the cut. And after my cut, I did my post-cut method. So if you guys want me to do that video, post in the comment section down below. This is gonna be my first time seeing the waves since the cut. Let's see how they look. Okay. Okay, not bad, not bad. Oh, nice. Wow, my left side really developed. Look at that. My left side was never really connected like that, but now it's truly connected. It looks so much better than before the cut. Wow. That's amazing. I'm super happy with this cut, y'all. Nice. So again, something I need to work on is bringing this right side down and then focus on the connections on my back right side. I'm pretty happy with how this cut came out. Wow. This was a great cut. I think for my next session now is I'm going to be focused on my back right side and also my back left side. Now those are 2 sides that have been weak for me, and I need to use the tip of the brush and focus on getting right in the crown and bringing it all the way down. The second part of the waves that I want to develop is my top left. Now my top left needs to get waves coming all the way down to the line, and I need to eliminate those forks. This next wolf session that I'm going to be on, I'm going to be using the slime green medium curve brush, And I feel like this brush will work well for me because it covers such a large surface area of my head. And I feel like it covers that connector angle right here perfectly. I'm just gonna focus on hitting this for the next session, and I know my waves will develop after that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you like, post a comment down below if there's any other tutorials you want me to make. Hit me up on Instagram, Nick_Wavy or Wavy Merch. That's where I post all my wave content. If you guys need wave products like this is the slime green finisher brush. Make sure you guys check out wavymerch.com. When you sign up on the website, you get 15% off your order. So I'm super happy with how this cut turned out. And when you have a good cut, you're more inspired to brush more. So I'm about to go have a brush session right now, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.